It is always my pleasure to introduce my colleague to you guys. Her name is Lynette Rogers. She is the owner of Virtually Yours, founder of Saving Our Youth. She is the author of the #1 bestseller book, Mission Unstoppable, with Les Brown and George Frazier. Lynette, are you out there?
I am out here. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning to all the Momentum Monday movers and shakers. Welcome to Momentum Mondays. And again, I am Lynette Rogers, the co-host of this call that's designed to wake you up, shake you up, and take you up to new levels in your life, your career, business, and your dreams. Momentum, it propels you forward in life. Without it, success is difficult. Now, who is this Monday broadcast for? It's for everybody. If you're a stay-at-home parent, a 9-to-5er, a career professional, entrepreneur in a direct sales business or in traditional business, if you're a student or if you're in between jobs or a blessing, reinventing yourself, if you're a man or a woman, guess what? This broadcast was designed with you in mind. I am super excited because I'd like to introduce a few of my amazing co-hosts. First up, Bishop Dickie Robbins. He is the pastor of Life in Christ Cathedral of Faith. He is the visionary of Dickie L. Robbins Ministries, chiming in from Chester, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Bishop. I heard you're ready to rumble.
Not only that, but I am excited about all the movers and shakers on this call who are ready to turn their lives right side up.
Ooh, all right. Well, good morning, Bishop. And next up is Ms. Danita Washington. She is the founder of Fort Wayne Girls Rock and Girls Rock Summer Camps, chiming in from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Good morning, Danita.
Good morning, Lynette, and I am excited about everyone who is ready to move from pain to purpose. Good morning.
All right. Good morning. All right. And you heard her welcoming each and every one of you to the call this morning, always pumped up, always on fire, Miss Michelle Washington, chiming in from Newark, Delaware. She's the founder of Michelle Marie Fashion Agency and the visionary of Women of More campaign. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Lynette. You know I can't help it. Woo!
All right. And last but certainly not least, she is a professional coach, role model, mentor, leader, national speaker, vice president of human resources in corporate America, and she is the visionary behind this call. Chiming in from Louisville, Kentucky, Miss Jill Jordan Green. Good morning.
Good morning. I am ready, but please don't make me go after Michelle anymore. I can't follow her. Thank you. Can't do it.
Well, we will be right here every Monday morning to make sure your Mondays will never be the same. Please take a second right now to join our Momentum Monday Facebook group and join the discussion by making your comments or asking your questions. You can like a quote or something you hear. Go to the page and hashtag I'm on the call. Hashtag I'm on the call. Well, I am absolutely fired up, pumped up, and excited about today's call. If you have been on the call over the last few weeks, we've been diving through and dissecting the amazing book, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Last week we talked about Chapter 10, Investing in Yourself, which is the best investment you can ever make. Again, investing in yourself is one of the best investments you will ever make. When you invest in yourself, you win. And by default, those people around you are winning as well. We are not going to hold you up this week. We're excited to talk about the call this morning because Chapter 11 talks about turning your dreams into reality. Now, it's really good when we're talking about the slight edge and what all the things that we can do to live a better life. And the beautiful thing about the slight edge is that it really is the simplicity of the book. Because all the things, as Michelle mentioned, that she was introducing everyone to the call, it's really easy. It's easy to do. And now what we want to talk about is how easy is it to turn our dreams into reality? How easy is it for us to turn our dreams into reality? So in the book, it talks about how there are 4 universal truths for reaching a big dream. And for a goal to come true, one of the universal truths are you must write it down, make it specific, and give it a deadline. You must have a plan to start with. You must understand and pay the price, and you must look at it every day. So we're going to be discussing these universal truths in order for all of us to reach and achieve those goals and dreams that we have and we desire to achieve. I'm going to toss it off to Bishop. And I want Bishop, if you could share with us the importance of why we should start with a plan. Many of us have goals. Many of us we just want to dive right into it, but we have no plan. We have no GPS system to get us to our desired destination. Bishop, talk to us why we need to have a plan. Bishop, are you out there?
I'm sorry. I was so excited I forgot to unmute myself. I am definitely here. But the reason why we need to have a plan is because every one of us has a dream, but the plan is what puts legs to the dream. Now, if you know how a child is when the child begins to walk, the child has legs, but they're not stable, they're not sturdy, but they are good enough to get that child walking. The first step in a journey is the most critical one. The first penny in a fortune is important. Just like a lot of us have a dream to be great in some area, that's not just going to happen by coincidence. The plan that we put in place is designed to move us toward that dream. Now, I use that language very, very carefully because as the author stated in the book, the plan that you start with is not necessarily the plan that will get you there. You'll require multiple plans in your life in order to actually get to the dream. It's like going on vacation and having a plan to see 5 of the most key vacation spots or attractions in that venue. But then you get there and you see something else that also piques your interest, so you alter your plan to make that next attraction possible. There's an adage that says most people don't plan to fail. They simply fail to plan. And I think that's true of everyone who makes the assumption that my dream is just going to come true because I want it. No, we have to start with a plan, and that plan is not designed to get us to the entire destination. It's simply designed to get us to do something that moves us in that direction.
Wow, that is amazing. You said plan to put legs to our dreams and goals, and that is the first step in a journey. My question, though, I want to stay on this point for a second. Bishop, why do you think people fail to plan? If you can what do you think stops us or hinders us? We have many people on the call this morning, and we have plans possibly, but what stops us or the majority of people from planning?
Because sometimes people will plan for a party on Friday night, but they won't plan for wealth in their retirement. We prioritize things improperly, and everybody plans. They just don't plan oftentimes to pursue their dreams. They think their dreams are going to come true because some prince or princess is going to ride into their life, or something magical is going to happen and cause those dreams to materialize. Now, in fact, planning for fulfillment of our dreams or to become successful or whatever it is, we have to plan that. And again, a lot of energy and a lot of thought, a lot of prayer needs to go into the initial plan, because that's not the final plan that we're going to have. but it's definitely going to be the one that moves us or motivates us to move in the right direction toward the fulfillment of those dreams. So it's it's prioritizing that cause some people not to plan for that aspect of their lives.
Wow. Thank you so much for breaking that down. And, it's so amazing because that's the first step. That's how you get out of the gate. We have to have a GPS. We need to have a plan. And, Bishop, you broke that down so beautifully. And I wanted to toss it over to Jill because it's one thing to have a plan, but a lot of times we have plans in our head. A lot of times we do good with envisioning our plans, but why is it important for us to write it down? The book talks about we have to make it a reality. And one way to make our dreams a reality and get our plan to a tangible form of our plan is to write it down. Jill, can you expound on why it's important for us to write things down, write down our thoughts and our plans?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say that Bishop, what he said was so right, and I'm posting something right now in our group, so if you're in our group, go in our group and hashtag you're on the call. But I posted, some people will plan the party, but they won't plan to prosper. Some people will plan to party, but they won't plan to prosper, right? A lot of times we put our planning in the wrong places or we don't have the right priorities. And so that's a hashtag moment, I think. And right now we're talking about how do you create your dreams and cause them to become a reality. And Bishop talked about the very first critical step, which is you have to have a plan. That sounds so elementary. It sounds so 1, 2, and 3. But did you realize that 85% of people in this country don't have a plan? Okay? Now, the question is, Jill, I want a plan. How do I get one? Well, the very first step in creating your plan is before you write anything down, you have to see yourself. I call it seeing yourself. The book calls it envisioning yourself. Can you see yourself if you want to run a marathon? Can you see yourself crossing the finish line with your family waiting, taking pictures of you with the sweat trickling down? Your feet might be hurting. You might be exhausted, but can you see yourself? Can you envision the success? If you want to increase your earnings next year and you want to make, let's say, $100,000 next year, can you see yourself in the job, in the business, in the role that will create that income? Lynette, I would say the first thing you have to do before you write down anything is seeing yourself. And that's why people have vision board parties. They have dream board parties. This is just not because people like to be creative. This is because it creates a real image of what success looks like. So that's the very first step in creating your plan. And I have all kinds of dream boards. Now, some people don't create dream boards because they think it takes too much time. They don't have the images. They don't want to print out the pictures. But I have something called the word board, where I will, Bishop, take a word that symbolizes a picture of what I would like to achieve, and I will cover an entire sheet of paper or a board with just words. That also works as well. So step one, folks, how do you create this plan? You have to see yourself. You have to envision it. Now, the second thing is then you have to identify, and I'm going to use the number 3 because I think that's very achievable. It's something you can chew on. I would say identify 3 goals or dreams you would like to accomplish or things that you want to come true. 3 things. Then you write those 3 things down. Inside our Facebook page, I also posted an article from Forbes magazine. I love Forbes. You can go online, go into Forbes and Google any topic you want, and it'll come up. And it says that you are 50% more likely to achieve your goals if they are written down. It helps you measure your progress. It helps you stay productive and motivated and focused. It guides your activity. Now you're not busy, but you're productive, and it stimulates the visualization that we've just talked about. Okay? So first of all, see yourself. Second of all, write down 3 goals that you want to accomplish, right? And then identify the what and the when. What specifically do you want to accomplish it and by when? And I'm going to give you an example, then I'm going to pause on that because I have tons of stuff on this. For example, Lynette, I wanted to write an e-book. I really wanted to write an e-book, and I wanted to write an e-book for a couple of years, but it never happened because I just wanted to write it. I just desired it. I talked about it, but guess what? Until I could see myself actually writing this book. So I got with this guy that I know, and I had him create the cover of my book. I had him create the cover of the ebook. I hadn't written one word of the book yet. I didn't even have a table of contents, Lynette. But what I did have was an image that solidified what this would look like when it was finished. That motivated me to identify the goal that I wanted to reach. Then I put together an outline of the steps that were going to take me there, along with the timeline, and then I was able to complete the ebook. And I'm so very proud of the fact that I was able to do that. But, Lynette, I wanted to do it for 2 years, but it didn't happen until I was able to see my stuff. I'm going to pause right now. I have tons of stuff on this. As you know, I'm very excited, but this is critical. We're talking about turning your dreams into reality, and this piece is about writing down your plan and making it plain. Lynette?
I love that, Jill, and you are so right. You know, it activates your activity when you write it down, when you visualize it, and like you said, you see yourself achieving that thing that you want. It's funny because I'm not married, and I'm desirous of being married one day, and I remember when I was at the Davis Bridal in our area, a friend of mine, she was getting married, and I had went in to try on the bridesmaid dress. It was on my own. She was like, whenever you get an opportunity, go in and try on a bridesmaid dress. But I was in there trying on bridal gowns, wedding dresses. And I took a picture of myself in the dress because I have an idea of the dress that I want. And I see myself, on that day. And it's just amazing because it's so true when you put yourself in a position and you get a mind's eye of what you want, you activate your activity. I'll tell you, after that happened, my life kind of took off in a fast pace on the dating scene, but I just wanted to testify to how that really works. You also said that when you write down or, use your word board as you use, you measure your progress and it guides your activity. So I just wanted to appeal to the audience and to the listeners that we want to make sure we follow these steps, because it's one thing to say it, but if you're not really serious about activating the things that you need to make it a reality, we're just talking. So next, I want to shoot it over. Jill, you were getting ready to say something?
Yes, so go ahead.
I'm just excited. All right. Next, we want to discuss, after we do all this, it's really interesting because when we have a plan, we have goals, we have dreams, one thing we need to realize, there's a price. There's a price to achieving our goals. The bigger your goal is, the bigger the price you have to pay. And I'll let everyone sit in that. The bigger your dreams and goals is, the bigger the price you have to pay. And I want to bring Danita in on the conversation on paying the price of our dreams and goals, because, it's easy to dream, but are we willing to do what it takes? Are we willing to sacrifice the time, the energy, the effort, the friends, the relationships, whatever that price is to pay? Are we willing to go through the fire? Danita, can you chime in on paying the price for success?
Absolutely. This is something that's kind of dear and close to me, Lynette, because I'm in that fire right now. Part of me paying the price is giving up something. And a lot of times that's where we struggle. The consequence of success and the consequence, and not always negative, is that we have to give up something. And I'm in a continuous battle in my mind about healthy eating, choices, and physical fitness. And part of that is that, I know that I have to give some things up to get something. And so as amazing as people may say, oh, you look good because of the journey that I've jump-started, to continue this, I must give some things up to move to the next level. And yesterday I was going up some steps to do laundry, and I was in pain, you guys. I was stiff, and it wasn't a lot of steps. I'm embarrassed to even say how many it was. And but I thought for a moment, I avoid exercising because of pain. Most of us don't want to start the exercise program because you're going to have sore muscles, you're going to be in pain. But I thought about, I am going to move #this from pain for purpose. Because part of what we have to learn in anything we go through for success, there's usually some painful moments. Mine is physical. Yours may be mental. Yours may be emotional for a job or for family. But whatever the pain is, we have to be willing to go through the pain for a purpose. And so for me, you know, it was this morning getting up extra early and getting on that treadmill and knowing that by afternoon I'm going to be sore and stiff, but at least that pain is going to be for purpose. The pain of me sitting and laying in bed and still being sore and stiff and then rising doesn't give me any purpose but to be diabetic or ill. And so learning to move from with that pain for purpose is critical for me. So hashtag that, you guys, pain for purpose. And remember this, whatever price you pay, there's a bigger price to pay for not doing it than the price for doing it. And I truly believe that. The price of neglect is much worse than the price of discipline. Now, that right there speaks for itself. I'm like you. Let's just sit in it. The price of neglect is much worse than the price of discipline. So I thought about, people always say eating healthy is expensive. So is being ill and sick. I went and got an MRI the other day. I got my bill. I was astonished. I could buy groceries for 4 or 5 months and eat healthy on the bill that it took for my MRI, for my back. So for everyone who keeps saying healthy eating, you know, cost, it's too expensive. No, it's not too expensive. The cost of that MRI, the cost of diabetes strips alone, $75 a month every time that I went in there. And I'm pre-diabetic. And so for everyone who doesn't understand moving from, you know, getting into that purpose, being able to sacrifice, it has to happen. And so that hashtag for me, from pain to purpose, is truly what I think we need to do. And it's going to take going through getting a hashtag from prayer and planning. You got to plan. You got to be prayerful about this sacrifice and this commitment that you're taking on. So know and be able to pay the price. But I say hashtag pain for purpose and use prayer and planning in order to get it done.
My goodness, hashtag pain to purpose. Danita, I just love your authenticity. Every time you're on the car, you're just so transparent with the listeners. And you're right, when you say, you have to give something up. And I think it's Jill who always say you have to give up to go up, and you're right, most of us, and how many of us on the call, how many of us do we avoid things because we don't want to feel the pain? Pain comes with the process. But like you said, Danita, the pain of regret, the pain of not doing something, it weighs far more than that pain of discipline at the moment, So if we just can get our minds set on, pushing through the pain, we won't have regret in the end. I'm reminded of a lot of the elderly people that I talk to. You ask them, when they're reflecting on their lives and what they would do differently. They a lot of times it's regret. It's regret of not doing certain things in life, eating healthier or stopping smoking earlier. Because all the things that we do is going to catch up with us. And that's what the Slight Edge is about, So you either do things now and really relish in the benefits of getting a head start, or trust me, it'll catch up with us later. And Michelle, I wanted to bring you in on the conversation. We've been talking about starting with the plan. We've been talking about writing our plans down and then visualizing our plan. Danita talked about how we must pay the price. And one thing that I remember when we first started the call and we did our challenge, our 30-day challenge back in August, one thing that Michelle brought to the conversation was how she not only writes the things down and looks at it every day, she has a magic marker that she writes her affirmations on her wall, permanent marker. So I wanted to bring Michelle in on the conversation to discuss why it is important that we look at our affirmations, our dreams, our goals every single day. Michelle?
You know, Lynette, actually I was going to talk about that, about the permanent marker, because it is very important for us to look at it, because when we look at the plan and what we visualize, it should activate you to do something, because I was just listening to everyone and knowing what, you know, we were talking about. You know, sometimes we could actually get caught up on just looking at something and not respond to what we're looking at. I'll say that again. We could look at what we're writing down, but we won't respond to what we're actually looking at. And I'll give you a personal example. Last week was just a challenging week for me. And I know my purpose. Of course, I talk about it all the time, and I post about it all the time and things. I know my purpose. But in that moment last week, I took my eyes off of my permanent marker on my wall. I took my eyes off of what I was writing down, and I got distracted by things outside of that permanent marker, my purpose in life, till it took me over. And then I was reminded this morning, which was so awesome, and I didn't even think about this last week, about the story in the Bible. When Jesus appeared to Peter and said, "Come on out and walk," and Peter said what he said to God, "If it's really you, tell me to come out there." In the midst of Peter actually walking, one, he had to believe. Two, he had to have the faith that he wasn't going to drown. So Peter did exactly what Jesus told him to do. But in the midst of him keeping his eyes on Jesus, in my situation, my eyes on the permanent marker, when I got distracted, I started drowning in the very thing that I was removing myself from, same like Peter. But when in the midst of him drowning, in the midst of that challenging week, when I called out to God and when I reached out to my circle that can push me back into that place, I began to walk on water again. Team, it is so important to not just look at what you're writing down. It is so important to stop not just writing your diary and close the book. It is important that you actually put legs, like Bishop said, to what you're writing down, to what your plan is. And let me tell you exactly what I did last night to make this point even better, not just for you guys, but for myself, because I'm a visual person. I went to the store and I got some Play-Doh. Y'all know what Play-Doh is. The little kids play with it. But I realized when you're planning and when you're working your vision, you're molding, you're trying to form that very thing that you're writing about. You're trying to mold the thing that you know that's in your heart. So I got that Play-Doh as a reminder for me that in those moments, not just moments of challenge, but those moments of thinking and planning, when that plan, like Bishop said, changes, I have that Play-Doh in my hand, and I'm starting to mold it, just as a visual for me. I don't know what you need for you to execute the thing that you're writing, the thing that's in your heart. But I challenge you today, whatever you need, whether it's a permanent marker, whether it's Play-Doh, whether it's getting the right people in your life to execute that plan, get it today. So your life won't just be paralyzed, but you're moving forward, like Bishop said, to that promised land. Lynette?
My goodness, Michelle, I am always inspired, and when I'm listening to you, you are just so radical in your desire for success, and I love it. Play-Doh, like you said, permanent marker, whatever it takes, just do it, And I am just really want to piggyback off of what you said. I'm one of those type of people. I'm passionate about vision boards. I'm passionate about dream boards, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter what activity I'm working on. I put something together because I want to see it in my mind's eye. And I just want to appeal to the audience to really understand that it sinks into your subconscious mind when we visualize things. So think about today and watch and see how many billboards you ride past today. These are advertisements which sometimes you have no idea why you're pulling into a fast food restaurant, but it could be because the billboard you just passed each and every day subconsciously spoke to you. Well, we have to have a billboard for our dreams. We have to have advertisement reminding us and the advertisement is subconsciously sinking into our mind to remind us of our dreams and goals. I just want to thank all the co-hosts on the call this morning. Throw it back out to anyone who has final thoughts before we wrap up the call. It's 8 o'clock, and I know we're going to dive into our after call. But before I do that, I just want to ask if any of the co-hosts had any final thoughts before we go to the after call.
I'll say this real quick. This call has been amazing. I love what you just said. I've been posting in the Facebook group page. I love Michelle's. She just gave me this image, so I posted a block of Play-Doh, right? I'm going to get some today. I'm sure my kids even have some in their rooms. So Mojo Success. And I have some examples of dream boards and things in the Facebook group. But you said create a billboard for your success. That was amazing what you just said, Lynette, because you're right. Those billboards imprint images, and they even make like those silent suggestions to your psyche, and you end up going to a store you hadn't intended on because you saw that billboard. So I'm going to continue to make sure I have these amazing billboards so they can continue to guide and help me focus so I can reach my dreams. I'm excited about the after call.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to open up the lines. I want everyone to shout out, I'm putting legs on my plan.
I'm putting legs.
I'm legs on my plan.
I'm putting legs on my dream.
I'm putting legs on my plan.
Yes.
Legs on my plan.
I'm putting legs through my plan.
Legs on my plan. Legs on my plan.
Putting legs on my plan.
Love it.
Okay. Lynette, why don't you mute the call so we can jump in real quick to the after call? So this is the part that I love about the after call. For those of you who are still with us, you have an opportunity to speak with us. Last week, oh my goodness, we had some amazing folks who stepped up and said, hey, I want to participate. So if you're on the call as a listener and you'd like to share a perspective, make a comment, ask a question, hit *6. That will unmute your line, and we will call on you and allow you to speak. So I want to go back real quick, Lynette. Today was awesome. Bishop talked about you have to have a plan. You know, I hit on writing the plan down, and then Danita talked about paying the price, which was huge. And then Michelle brought us home with, you know, you got to look at this thing every day. You got to keep it in front of your eyes. But one thing I wanted to also talk about, when you talk about the specific what you should identify, you got to talk about the timeline of the win. That's the piece a lot of us miss. A lot of us will get to the place where we'll create that vision board. We will create that word board, that dream board, and we'll look at it every day because it's beautiful. But we don't put a timeline to those things that we desire to come forth. And it will only be a wonderful poster without the timeline. I was reading an article, and I think this might have been the Forbes article, and it said 80% of what you have to do normally gets done in the last 20% of the time left available. I'm going to say that again. That means a lot of us, we wait to the last minute, right? For most people in this country, 80% of what you have to do normally gets done in the last 20% of the time you have left. We all wait to the last minute. But if you don't have a timeline, that 20% never reveals itself. So as we talk about putting this plan together, and Bishop, I hear you, so I want you to chime in. Yes, you have to have a plan. Yes, you have to write it down and make it plain. Yes, you need to keep it in front of yourself. But without a timeline, it never manifests. Bishop?
Yeah, that is so true. I was chuckling because I'm a word crafter and I like to play with words, but I remember words that other people say, and there's an adage that says that procrastination is the biggest waster of time. And I heard that when I was in grade school, and it has stuck with me all these years. Procrastination is a proclivity that most people have. And the reason why we procrastinate is because we are, number one, afraid to hold ourselves accountable for instant results or immediate results, or we refuse to be held accountable for that. So if we say that we're going to do something by a certain time, that is a component of accountability. And it's amazing how many people resist accountability, even when it's to their detriment. So by putting timelines to what we say that we want to do or even need to do, it gives somebody permission to hold us accountable for doing that. And it also causes us to eliminate many of the excuses we would otherwise offer. So timelines are crucial to getting things done.
Indeed. Michelle, Lynetta, or Danita, feel free to chime in on that. But I think that's the piece, Bishop. You said it. People sometimes are afraid of the accountability, so they don't put the timeline in place. Or they just don't know to. I don't know what it is, but without the timeline, all this just becomes a fantastic daydream, an amazing art project, that we're going to be the same person we were 12 months ago. Michelle?
Actually, I was going to ask Bishop a question in reference to what he just said, in reference to, people don't want to be held accountable. And do you think that they don't want to be held accountable because it's going to require them, of course, to do something, but is it a matter if that particular person, they're not serious about what they want to do, or they don't want to be. They are more looking at the end result of a person. Say, I want to be like that, and not willing to do the work that caused them to get to that place.
Well, there are a lot of people, Michelle, who would like to go out window shopping. I've never been a fan of window shopping just for the sake of doing it. Now, I know that window shopping can inspire you to desire, bigger and better, but once you find out how much something costs, what's your next move? If I go window shopping and I see the item that I want is the perfect item for me, the next step has got to be counting the cost. But if the cost itself becomes the deterrent, saying it looks nice in the window, well, when I get close enough to see the price tag, now I'm going to back off and I'm going to change my dream or change my desire because I'm not willing to pay that cost. Now, accountability says, you recognize the cost, and here is the sacrifice that's going to get you there. I'm going to check every week to see what kind of progress you're making toward accumulating that price so that you can ultimately pay it. Accountability gives people permission to be active in your life, perhaps in ways that people are not comfortable having them active.
I agree, Bishop, because actually, having someone holding me accountable, it's really helping me get to my desired outcome quicker, because now I have someone that knows my purpose and understands what I'm trying to do, but they are pushing me, and which is great. Some people don't like it. Some people actually, Bishop, get offended. Jill, Lynette, Danita, some people get offended. They ask you to hold them accountable, and then when you hold them accountable, they have an issue with you.
I agree with that.
Excellent. Yeah, I agree with that as well. Just one thing about accountability is that you have to have some confidence in the people that you're asking to hold you accountable, because sometimes we ask the wrong people who have not achieved anything themselves. We ask them to hold us accountable, and a person can only hold you accountable for what they are willing to be held accountable for themselves. So a person who achieves nothing cannot hold you accountable for achieving something.
Okay. I need a minute.
I think the other thing is that we have to be able to trust people to have the courage to have courageous conversation. Part of the problem with accountability is people in friendships don't even really know the defining words of friendship, and that's being able to have courageous conversations, which means I'm going to be uncomfortable, because to talk to me about my weight, I'm going to have to get uncomfortable. Even a good friend of mine who I'm in friendship with, he said to me, he walks, and he said the one time he took me to Foster Park to walk, and I whined the whole park. He was like, okay, seriously, I can't do this. And so it's been 6 months, and he still walks every day. And finally, he had the courage to have a conversation this weekend with me about walking. And it was that, hey, you need to get your butt to that park. It's free. The air is free. It don't cost us to go out there, and I will take my time with you. But most people, because I do have kind of a dominant spirit, y'all don't have to say amen to that, don't want to always have a tough conversation with people who can be that person that is going to have a comeback. But it took him to have a courageous conversation with me to say, I want you to live. I want you to be able to move past this hurdle. You tackled a lot of things. You're amazing to our city. But this one thing I think is going to cost you if you don't get it together. Now, I got a bunch of cheerleaders. I got a bunch of friends who go and they work out. But this person was willing to have a courageous conversation with me in love. And so I think part of it is, too, Bishop, is that, you know, sometimes we have people in the circle, but they're not always willing to, I'm not going to say confront, but have a difficult conversation, to be uncomfortable. But real friendships and real love is willing to be uncomfortable so that they can get you to a greater goal.
Yeah, that was good.
Absolutely. Well, I love everything you guys are talking about, but I was chuckling when Bishop said basically that we pick the wrong accountability partner, Janita. And I hear you're saying, you know, the one that you choose should be able to have those courageous conversations with you, right? They can't be afraid to hold you accountable and call you out on your stuff. You said you want to be healthier, get your tail out there and walk on, right? I hear that. And Bishop is saying, but you can't choose somebody who's not holding themselves accountable to at least the same standard or even higher. And a lot of times we'll choose an accountability partner. We want to say we got one, but really we're choosing somebody who's going to keep us comfortable, right? And that's okay if that's where you want to be, but don't be disappointed in your results. See, I'm committed to not fighting with you about where you want to go. Me and Michelle talk about this all the time. I'm not going to fight with you about your limitations. If you say you want to go to the park, okay, great. We're going to talk about going to the park. But if you start fighting about going to the park, great. I'm going to let you stay at home because guess what? The rest of us going to the park. But I love this conversation. We're talking about turning dreams into reality. And this is not about hand-holding. This is about getting it done. Bishop, in the Facebook group, I just posted an image called 6 Steps of Procrastination, and it is hilarious. But you hit on the point about procrastination. It is definitely the thing that is a thief that comes in the night, and it takes away any opportunity of success if we don't capture it. But I read an article, and I'm going to pass this off, that 85% of the people in this nation are inflicted with the procrastination disease. I read that somewhere, Bishop. 85% of the people have the disease of procrastination.
And it is a chronic disease, but there's a cure. And I tell you what, the cure is painful. And most of us can even in our mind, or we can recall going to a doctor to get a shot of whatever it is that is needed, either the flu vaccine or something to cure something. If it's not preventing something, it's curing something. And we don't like the needle itself. We don't like the process itself. What we do like are the results. And the problem with the procrastination inoculation is that we need it multiple times. Every time the tendency emerges to procrastinate, somebody needs to be authorized to give us another shot of that thing that crushes or mitigates procrastination. And it's not always encouragement. Sometimes it is confrontation. And confrontation does not have to be a declaration of war. It can be, because I love you, I insist that.
I love that. Well, one second, Danita. We have, it looks like we have a 678 number that has unmuted their line. And so if you are trying to chime in and you want to participate, you can do so at this time. But it looks like there is someone with a 678 number out of Atlanta, 480, who's unmuted. If that's by mistake, it's okay, but we just want to give you a chance to chime in if you're trying to, because we'll keep going.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jill. This is Roxanne. I'm calling from Valdosta, Georgia.
Hey, Roxanne.
Hey, love. This is my first time back on the call in a couple of months. I've been missing it, and I got it this morning, and OMG. Can you say kicked me where I needed to be kicked this morning. Okay. I'm going to have to go back and catch the call from the very beginning, but all of what I heard, I'm just shaking my head and taking notes, and I'm working at the same time, so I'm just like, okay. But this was an awesome call for me. I need to be held accountable because I'm trying to do several things at once, and I'm not managing my time, and I think that's where my biggest problem is, time management. I have ideas. I have plans. I want to walk my plans, or I want to run with my plan. I want to be held accountable, but my time management is really what's messing me up. I feel as though if I could figure out where everything fits and work it where it fits, I'll be better off. But my schedule sometimes is not my own. I can't set it. I'm a court reporter, so when they go late in court, that messes up my evening. And because I have to be at court at 7 in the morning when they haven't started yet, that's why I'm still talking and listening. So when I have to be here at 7, for me to get up and go work out means I have to get up and be working out no later than 4:30, so I can get a good hour in and get back, change, and be out the door by 6:45. Some mornings I just don't feel it, but I have to work my plan. My plan is to be healthy. I heard what the young lady said about it's easier to, or it's cheaper to eat healthy than it is to go pay that doctor's bill. Amen. I shouted on that one. But all of this is just things that we know that we need to do. Right. We don't take the time to do them. We make time for everything else. As women, we make time for everybody else but ourselves. Absolutely. I can make a vision board and look at it like she said and walk past it. Oh, it looks pretty. I did it. But I haven't worked on what I put up there. I haven't taken the time to practice my craft. I haven't taken time to put together a workout plan that I can stick to. I haven't taken time to put together a meal plan that I can afford and that I can eat and that works with my schedule. I just haven't taken the time. So I'm going to go back later on today when my day calms down, or even over lunch, and listen to the entire call from the very beginning, because I jumped in at 10 minutes after, and it was awesome. Bishop, he spit some knowledge this morning. He spit a whole mouthful of knowledge this morning. You better go, Bishop. High five to you. But the rest of you ladies spoke some truth all over the place, and I thank you for this call, and I thank you. Jill, I love you. Ladies, I love you all. Bishop, you better keep on spitting all that knowledge to everybody else, but I got to go get in court. The judge came around the corner. So you all have a blessed day. Love you, Jill. All right.
Love you.
Yeah, God bless you.
Oh, that is Roxanne Green. That's actually my cousin out of Atlanta, Georgia. And it's so awesome, when your family gets on the call to support you. I used to love that. But you know what? She speaks to what a lot of us deal with. How many times have any of us on the call put together a dream board and walked by it every day like it's just now a new painting? We've all done that. And I would say this. Are we still recording? Great. I would say this so she can listen to it when she jumps back on. A lot of times, you guys, we have to chop up our plans, right? If we just say we want to eat healthy and we're going to work out every day until infinity, guess what? That's very intimidating, and that's probably not going to happen, especially when you have a very full, hectic life. You have children, additional responsibilities. So I would say if your challenge has been trying to figure out how to get it all in, start with 7 days. Say for 7 don't even start at 30. For 7 days, I am going to get up 30 minutes earlier and work out for 15 minutes and then meditate, pray, or do something for my mind for 15 minutes. Just that by itself. Just start there. And then this is an example based on her situation. And then after those 7 days that you've completed getting up 30 minutes earlier and working out your mind and your body, then for the next 7 days, say I'm going to work out, do something for my mind, and drink 3 bottles of water a day. Like, just add something. So by the time you get to your 30 days, you have your workout in there, you have your water in there, you've altered your eating plan. But I think a lot of times we bite off too much. We're so excited. We think we can do more than we can, and then we get discouraged, and then we don't do anything. And I see Ebony, I believe it's Ebony, who's unmuted her line. Ebony, are you trying to chime in?
I am. Mine is more of a question. I am having an issue with a teeter-tottering friendships. And I feel as I had courageous conversations, as Danita would say, with my friend, I feel that caused distance and caused a wedge between our friendship. And it was because of the fact that I felt I was holding this individual accountable for the things in which they had disclosed that they were trying to pursue in life. So I don't know how to go further with the friendship because I truly love this person, but I don't know if I'm able to be the person that they need me to be right now in their life.
Let me jump in there on that question. I've encountered that situation so many times as a pastor, but let me just share this with you. You can only hold a person accountable if they're willing to allow you to do so. Sometimes people will say, "I want you to hold me accountable for this, that, or the other," but when the time comes for the accountability, they are resistant to that same accountability, and we can never hinge our friendship on the ability to be held accountable or to hold someone else accountable. The friendship has to be the net that houses all the components of our friendship. And what we have to sometimes do is have a frank and honest conversation with our friend about their resistance to accountability and say to them, "I value our friendship more than I value the role of your accountability partner. So why don't you let me help you find somebody who can hold us accountable?" And here's what happens. Sometimes we're so close to people that we love them but lose respect for them in the area that we need to hold them accountable. And so it is conceivable that she's having that, whoever the person, he or she, is having a problem distinguishing between the function of the relationship and the relationship itself. So guard the relationship and pass off the function.
Whew. Wow, that was
Thank
good.
you, Bishop.
That was really good. Danita, you want to chime in on that? That was great. Danita. Okay, while Danita's coming back on, I think she's on mute. Bishop, you said protect the friendship and pass off the function. What was that? I want to hashtag that.
Yes, I said guard the friendship and pass off the function. You can have in your lifetime a number of accountability partners, but you get very few friends. So don't wreck the friendship in the attempt to hold someone accountable. Sometimes that accountability partner has to be someone who's less of a friend and more of a person who's just going to perform that function.
I love that. That is great wisdom. That is great wisdom. That is great wisdom. Thank you, Bishop. This is some good stuff. Oh, my goodness. Let's see who else is on the line trying to chime in. Danita, if you are still with us, give me a shout and let me know you're there. This has been extremely powerful. Thank you, Ebony, for chiming in. Thank you, Roxanne, also for chiming in. And we are right up against the end of our after call. Michelle or Lynette or Bishop, anybody have any closing comments on this amazing call today?
This is Lynette. This is
Yes,
Lynette.
ma'am.
I just wanted to just say, wow, I'm in awe at our conversation. I really appreciate the callers for participating in the after call. But I'm also looking at the Facebook page, and I want to also just thank you, Jill, for stressing the importance of that timeline to our dreams and our goals, you know. And I want to challenge everyone who's putting goals together, who's doing their vision board. I can admit that was one of the things that hindered me. I never put a timeline, and it was, you know, like I said, I'm one of those individuals. I'll create vision boards for so many things, and they become art projects or posters, right, until I understood the value of the timeline. And so that's why a lot of times when I'm putting conferences together or if I'm doing something that actually has a timeline, I see that I'm more successful in creating that reality as opposed to the things that, you know, don't necessarily have an actual timeline that I'm holding myself accountable to, if that makes sense. So I want to thank you, Jill, for stressing that. If you're putting your vision board together, make sure you add dates to those things that you're putting on there because, you know, at the end of the day, it will just become a poster. And that's not what this is about. I mean, you know, we want our lives to look different. We want our life. Either you're serious or you're not. And that's the conversation I have to have with myself. You know, I don't want to just be talking about things. I'm serious about wanting my life to look different, wanting my future to be different, and wanting my babies to have more. And so I have to be intentional about the things that I say. And, you know, and Bishop, back to what he was saying about, you know, finding those right accountability partners. You know, I don't want somebody who's not successful or who's not serious. And just the caller that just chimed in, you know, if you find someone who's offended or, you know, just not responsive to you holding them accountable, it's okay. Like Bishop said, preserve the friendship, but you just meet them where they are. Jill said, you know, I'm not going to fight for you, you know, for your limitations. If you're not, I mean, it's cute to say it, but when I call you and say, hey, you said you wanted me to wake you up at 5 a.m. because we're going to the gym, and they give you all kind of excuses, they send you the voicemail, whatever that thing is, okay, keep it moving. You know, but I just love everyone for just their commitment every week, and you know we're going to get this thing done. So I just wanted to add that piece about the timeline. Make sure we're putting dates, and again, they can be changed. But if we're serious, we want to make sure we put dates on the things we want to achieve.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I'm chuckling. So one of our very faithful listeners, Yolanda Walker, just posted in the Facebook group. A lot of times she can't speak because she's sitting at her desk in her office. But I love what she did. She posted in the Facebook group a picture of her. She actually went to Lisa Ray's Life Rocks Vision Board conference about 8 months ago. And she said she spent a lot of money to go to this conference. And there's a picture of her and Lisa Ray with this beautiful vision board that she created. And she kind of just really, it is an example of the principle that we're sharing is you can create a vision board, but that's just the beginning. It's not the end, right? That's just a step. It's not the completion of our plan. Because she's saying, you know, I got this board and I look at it every day, but she didn't put a timeline against it. And so right now she's going to put some feet to it so she can make those goals become a reality. But I appreciate her sharing that because that's a lot of us. So timeline, guys, it's everything. So I would love to put out a challenge, Lynette, and I would like to see people today posting, you know, one of their goals along the timeline. So the other thing about having your dream turn into reality, you have to be bold. You have to have the courage to say, yes, I want to accomplish this by the end of December 2015 or by the end of January 2016. You got to be bold to say by January 5th, 2016, I will have X, Y, and Z, right? You got to be bold. Timelines and boldness. Anyway, guys, we're flat out of time. Bishop, did you have anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to, so since you guys are my accountability partners, and that's whether you want to or not. But I've been talking about writing books for a while, and I've started several. But I just want to say, number one, that I just sent a manuscript to the editor last week. I think it was Thursday, and I really would like some accountability. So when I get the edited manuscript back, I don't want to sit on it. I want to have a next draft by the end of December, and so I want to give you guys permission to hold me accountable for that.
Woo!
Woo! All right.
Yes, I love that.
Bishop.
Okay, Bishop, you put pressure on us.
Well, the title of the book is Attitudes of the Heart. So I think that's going to be appropriate for a lot of things that we've been talking about. So there's something that needs to be birthed out. So I really want you guys to hold me accountable for it. 9 months of pregnancy is long enough for anybody.
Oh, wow.
Love it.
Wow. Okay. All right, that's pressure. Okay, Bishop, I'm following your footsteps. Woo! Okay, guys. For some of you know, well, maybe some of you don't know, I've been working on a planner, actually a goal-setting planner. This is why I'm so passionate about this, because I'm working on this stuff right now. I've been working on it for a long time, off and on, because I have so many other things. And I have the excuse of being busy, but that's not an excuse. That is just an excuse. And so, Bishop, my goal was to have my plan done by the end of December 2015. So, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, help me, Jesus. I'm putting it out there.
Gotcha.
Now putting it out there. Okay, Michelle, Lynette, let's go. Get in. It's all of us. We holding hands on this.
Well, I definitely want to be held accountable. This is Lynette. I have, for those of you who don't know, I have I'm working on my nonprofit 501c3. I work with young people, mentor them, helping them with their public speaking and leadership skills. It's called SOY, Saving Our Youth. And I need to get my 501c3 application actually filed because I'm missing out on so many opportunities because I don't have the 501c3. But I am committed to getting it done by the end of this year, so I want to be held accountable to ensure that application is complete by the end of the year.
We got you.
Alrighty.
We got you. All right, Michelle.
And y'all forcing me to say it because I've been sitting on it, but I'm getting ready to start a cutting-edge professional development that I'll go out to different places and organizations and provide that professional skill training and skill set for different businesses. So my goal by the end of the year is to have my catalog done and ready to, offer that to the community. So I need to get things in motion.
Woo! Oh my goodness, y'all. Okay, do you feel butterflies in your stomach? Because I do.
Yes, totally.
I feel butterflies in my stomach. It's something. I'm telling you, if you are serious about your goals, guys, I would encourage you to go to our Facebook post today in the next 24 hours and post just one of your goals. That's how you get it done. And the reason why you have butterflies in your stomach is it's because it's nothing small. This is a big thing that we're trying to accomplish. And now people are going to be holding you accountable. When it's a secret, you don't have to face anybody, right? And it stays a secret and it never gets done. But, Bishop, thank you for taking the lead and putting it out there. Thank you for jumping in on the challenge. So you have our goals. We put ourselves out there as the Momentum Monday co-host. Miss Danita Washington is now in transit, so that's why you don't hear her voice. For those of you who are saying, what happened to Danita? She's in transition, and so she's not able to speak anymore. She's driving. But anyway, I love this. Thank you guys so much for dialing in and joining with us. Ebony and Roxanne, and for those of you who also spoke up next week, I'm looking forward to all of you posting in the Facebook group what your goal is coming up for the end of the year. So join us next Monday. We'll be here next Monday. Same time, same channel.
Have a great day. Put legs to those dreams, guys.
Put legs on it. Put legs on it.
Play-Doh today, everybody.